Something I found interesting about Florida when I pulled the active inventory stats back to 2008 was that we've never really had an inventory increase. For the past 16 years at least, we went from 20,000 single-family homes listed to 90,000. But when you look at January 2008, we had 240,000. That's crazy. So guys, the building will continue until morale improves. I was in a meeting recently with the administrator from Charlotte County. They were doing a presentation showing that our single-family permits are up 30% year over year for the past several months. So we're still in Charlotte County building 30% more homes than we were at the same time last year, which, as you guys know, we are already building a ton of single-family homes. So they look like they're going to keep this inventory increase going, at least for the next couple of years here, because what they were also telling us is the utility hookups are significantly backed up. So that's slowing things down and putting things out further than they anticipated. As you guys know, we've been slow with everything here in Charlotte County since the hurricane, but they're considering hiring more crews potentially to address this issue and get these houses up faster. So what that tells me is new construction is probably going to be pretty strong here, at least for the next year, which, given all the indicators of our inventory and things like that, might be surprising to some people. Guys, I am out at Peace River Shores today. This is, I want to say, about 20 minutes outside of Punta Gorda. If you head up north of 17, it's a more rural area. Surprises some people that they have places like this around here. But as you can see behind me, you can get some massive acreage here. That's actually right on the river too. So you're going to pay a premium for it. A very diverse set of houses and communities out here. Some are gated. Some, obviously, like this one, are not. There are some small mobile home communities out here as well. But it's not always, the houses on top of houses. There are places you can get decent acreage out here. Sometimes 5, 6, 7 acres. So very rural. Thought I'd come through here today, kind of show some of this stuff off behind me. And real quick, guys, if you like this channel and this content, please give me a like and subscribe. Maybe consider sharing. It helps the channel out immensely, and I appreciate everybody who does so. Hit the notification bell just to know when I'm coming out with new stuff. I try to do at least multiple videos a week these days. Some people have said that they've been unsubscribed or their notifications are not coming through, so make sure you check on those as well. To see this continued push for new construction here is surprising to me because, as we've mentioned, builders are struggling to move some of their inventory. I'm starting to see builders put houses on the MLS in areas that were not previously listing anything on the MLS. Some places down in Inglewood, some of you guys might be familiar with. But and, I'm getting offers from local builders for all kinds of incentives, commission-wise, to bring buyers. I mean, one local builder is offering a normal commission and then a $10,000 bonus on top of that. So these are not $1 million properties. These are $300,000-$400,000 properties. So that's quite significant. I mean, that's a hell of a commission, honestly, for what you're doing. But previously we had seen other things, as I mentioned, builders offering 8% commissions, and that's kind of equating to that. But so when I'm seeing all these incentives come up and they're trying to motivate us to bring buyers and things like that, it's strange that we would still see, to me, to have such an increase in new construction permitting. And on to resales, guys, because as you saw, Charlotte County had a killer month for home sales in March. We sold a lot of houses. That is in contrast to the rest of the MLS for the year-end numbers that I put up there. But I suspect around the state, we're going to see high sales numbers all around this time of year. That's just how it goes. Now, with that being said, we sold a lot of homes, but we did not increase prices. Things are still taking a long time to sell. There are still price decreases abound, but that's kind of one of the reasons I've really always said things are selling here. They're always going to sell here. And I've always said we have to wait till we get through season because January, February, December were rough. February was one of the worst months I think I've seen in the real estate market around here in a long while. And look at that. At the drop of a hat, it can turn around because people decide, I don't want to wait any longer. This is my time to buy. And there is a lot of money coming in. Somebody asked me how many cash sales there were. So out of about 470 sales, and let me get the number right, 195 in Charlotte County for single-family homes were cash. That is actually pretty high. Usually, it hovers around 30%. So to see it at 41, a lot of cash came in. Now, we had a huge sales surge in Charlotte County. But when we jump, literally right over the county line to Northport, they saw the opposite. Their sales actually dropped year over year. But they were about 190 for Northport last year, down to 160 and change. I have the exact number here. So that was interesting to see them have a decrease while we had such a rise in sales. They actually sold 12% less than they did last March. Both their average and median price were down from March based on what I have on the MLS. And their cash situation is extremely different. They had 166 sales of single-family homes in Northport. Only 29 of those were cash. So you can, literally, we border each other. Port Charlotte, Charlotte County borders Northport. So you can go 5 minutes north and it's a completely different scenario for the month of March in that market up there. They got about 926 homes currently listed. Charlotte County, as I looked, we've closed in about 4 to 5 days here, almost 60 houses already for April. So we're going to see if April's just as strong as March was. And when I look at closed sales, specifically Cape Coral, when we looked in that video and we went back to 2008, our highest closed sales until the mania again was 2009. So in the midst of everything falling apart, they sold a metric ton of homes in Southwest Florida because people came in and bought. So that's something to consider as well. Closed sales is not necessarily a great gauge of how well any individual market's doing. So guys, things can change county to county, city to city. That was for the whole city of Northport as well. And someone did comment about Cape Coral. They mentioned we're trying to buy a $300,000 house on the last video, and they're getting in bidding wars down there in Cape Coral. If you guys are in Cape Coral, anybody seeing bidding wars and stuff going back, it's without knowing what exactly you're trying to pick up for $300,000 in Cape Coral, it's hard to say. Could be a 2,000 square foot pool home. Yeah, there's going to be a bidding war. So if anybody can elaborate on that, if what you're seeing on the ground down there, because they had more inventory than we did. So that was very surprising to me to hear. And the resale market has shifted from motivated seller, before motivated seller in every listing, which you'll still see. We're kind of in the middle of that right now. It was seller will offer concessions, seller will buy down your rate. That didn't work. We moved to motivated seller. Now the big one is listed below appraised value. Whose appraisal, guys? Who got the appraisal done? Was it a bank? Probably not. Just saying, it's the seller's appraisal. So, and then listed a below appraised value makes me chuckle. I think it's worse than motivated sellers. Basically, they're saying, or they're trying to get you to believe that they're willing to sell this house for way less than it's worth. That's what I question. And it's just a sign of the times, how things are shifting. And you would have never heard that years ago. You would have never heard any of these phrases uttered years ago. And here we are. So yeah, we're selling a bunch of houses this March, but that does not mean the temperature or the climate of the market has necessarily changed. And just a quick cursory look at the Reventure app, which I'm sure you guys are all familiar with. If you look, year over year increase in inventory, Florida's number one in the country. 43% on their app. Now that's all property types. I believe that includes condos, but 43%. Alabama, Louisiana close by. Nothing else even in the realm as high as that. So that's what I keep stressing to people is look at the listing inventory, guys. Look at the listing inventory. I know we're not seeing the price movement that you want to see, and maybe we never do, but 43% increase statewide in listing inventory in 1 year, the highest in the nation. And I keep chuckling because I look at California and I look at New York and I look at Illinois with Chicago. Their inventory's all down. And people are like, everybody's coming here. I'm like, they're fleeing those states. I'm like, well, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying I would expect a larger inventory boost in those states if there is such a dramatic exodus. And again, guys, I'm not picking any side of a political spectrum. I'm just telling you what the numbers show me. So I question these kind of things because the data just doesn't support it. And something I found interesting about Florida when I pulled the active inventory stats back to 2008 was that we've never really had an inventory increase for the past 16 years at least, it wouldn't go back further than January, we went from 20,000 single-family homes listed to 90,000 in a matter of 2 years. So again, 43% jump year over year. We've seen a massive inventory increase. So we've got 90,000 houses listed in the state. But when you look at January 2008, we had 240,000. That's crazy. And it's only gone down. This is the first time it's really gone up. There's a lot of people who for basically 20 years have never seen a substantial inventory increase hit Florida. I thought that was really enlightening. I'll throw that chart up on the screen here for you as well. I mean, people who were in the industry back then are dead, maybe out of it. I'm sure there's some left, but it's been 20 years since we've had a significant inventory buildup. And even at 90,000 homes in Florida, we're baseline where we were through the 2010s mostly. So when people are like, Florida is going to get clipped for 50%, or there's going to be this massive fallout. Again, I've always said, without some sort of catalyst, I don't know how we get back up to 240,000 listings. We're at 90,000, and we almost got to triple that. So that's where I get racked in my brain to be like, everybody wants me to say one thing or the other. And it's like, man, when I look at that, we're so far away from that. That doesn't mean we couldn't get there. But right now, we're not there. It is heading up. It's heading in that direction. But only time will tell, guys. That is going to do it for me today, guys. If you like this video, give me a like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.